What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. I am one half of this thing, King, or the actual King Smith. Normally co-hosting with me is my main man, Coach, who sits in an avatar over here somewhere. I don't recall if he was going to be joining or not for our stream today. So y'all are going to have this face live while we get through this live stream in which I, a US Air Force veteran, talk about all of the sports and things so that we can just enjoy the sports entertainment conversation. So I hope that that answered that question from JC Sapp that said, what is this about? This is the sports bar. We do a regular sports entertainment. I'm going to call it sports edutainment here at WTF Nation Radio. I'm one of the 6, 7, 8 shows that are here at WTF Nation Radio. We do a live monthly quiz or sports trivia, if you will, every last Sunday of the month. So we will be having our monthly sports trivia next week, in which we're going to be giving away something. It could be cash, it could be a signed jersey, which we've done in the past, it could be a gift card to your favorite place to go shopping. But you're not going to know about it unless you tune in. So next week, be sure to come back to the sports bar, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, for our monthly trivia. And be ready to win. See if you can beat me. Coach is the one that usually hosts it. And I try to encourage y'all to see if y'all can outscore me. But you can't win anything if you don't show up. All right? So we got, let's see who we have in the building. Shout out to Richard Bronco, said, what's up over on YouTube. Appreciate you popping in. JC Sapp, what's up? Good to see you. We got my man DC. David Cunningham is in the building. Shout out to DC. Jarhead in the building. Or what is it that the Jarhead say? Oorah, oorah. We don't have nothing like that cool in the Air Force. We got air power. I need my soundboard going so I could have given myself the buzzer on that one. And shout out to everybody that's tuned in so far. We've got a lot of people that are tuning in live early on, and I appreciate that. We're almost at 100 people watching live before we're 5 minutes into the show, so that's fantastic. So let's get right into it. We've got some WrestleMania 41 updates. I'm not that much of a wrestling fan. Some people may not call wrestling sports, but I put it in the category of sports entertainment. There are different storylines and things that are at play, and if we had the Greek Pete in the building, he could have given us the full 411 on WrestleMania and what was going on. And I might try to see if I could get him to join us. Matter of fact, why don't I do that? Let me see if I could get him to join us tonight to talk some WrestleMania. What else are we going to talk about? We've got Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes that is awaiting the NFL draft, is getting his jersey number retired at the University of Colorado. And there are some people that are for it, some people are against it. I think we're going to talk about that one early on because I've got a certain position that I stand on it, but I want to see what other people think as well. Both Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, who was the phenomenal two-way player. He won the Heisman his second year at Colorado, played both wide receiver and cornerback. I understand having a Heisman Trophy winner have their jersey number retired, but Shedeur Sanders, I'm not so sure. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to give my thoughts about the NBA playoffs. I made a bet with somebody in which they said that the Los Angeles Lakers were going to exit within 5 games when they were the higher seed over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I said, nope, I believe that the Lakers are going to advance to go to the next round. I don't know if they're good, if they've got enough juice to make it to the championship, but I don't think that they're going to get bounced out, especially in 5 games by the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then we'll see what else comes up before the show ends. JC Snap said, do we talk about soccer? Soccer? I'm not somebody that follows soccer myself. However, Coach does. So being that Coach is not on at the moment, y'all might not get any soccer from me. Give me a second while I ask Pete if he could join the show and talk WrestleMania right now. All right. So while I wait for my man Pete to come on, let me go into my thoughts about Shedeur Sanders getting his jersey retired. In my opinion, if y'all follow NCAA football here, and there's been a lot of news that's done came out from NCAA football, The retirement of Shador Sanders during the Colorado Buffalo spring game, to me, it's a tragedy. I don't believe that his jersey number should have been retired. Now, here are my points. Okay, Pete said that he could join, so I'm going to send him the link here and see if I could get him to join. Um, and then come back to finishing up my points about why I don't think that Shador Sanders should get his jersey number retired. Give me 1 second. I gotta do this on the fly and do it live. We doing it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. I don't know if y'all get that reference. Let's see. Check Facebook Messenger. I haven't done this before this way, so I'm not sure if it is going to work, but we're gonna try and make it happen. Let's see. We had a question. Is this WTF Nation Radio? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is WTF Nation Radio Sports Show. All right. Let's see. He said he sees it. He'll be there in a few minutes. We're going to try and make this work. All right. So my arguments about the University of Colorado's decision to retire Shador Sanders' jersey. Y'all tell me. I don't think his resume is enough. Right? If you think about it this way, their team and how they left Jackson State to go to the University of Colorado definitely brought a lot of hype to that area, sold more tickets, had more merch sold, made people interested in coming to check out the University of Colorado's campus and sports atmosphere. But while they were there, Shador Sanders only played 2 seasons, during which the team achieved a combined record of 13 and 11. While he did set some individual records, the team didn't secure not one conference championship or a major bowl victory during his tenure. Their first year at the University of Colorado was deemed, I'm going to call it, they called it a success. I say it could be considered a success, right? When you had somebody that was already in the hunt for the Heisman Trophy, even on his first year in Travis Hunter, then you can say, well, King, they were building the pieces around that team. So that first year, you really can't expect them to go all of the way or even get above 500, which they didn't do. I think they won their first 3 games, and everything after that went downhill. People were riding high on Colorado. And Coach Sanders, was able to get more pieces around the coaching staff to where the second year they had higher expectations, and they did do better their second year. But they still didn't play or have a major bowl victory during that time. So I don't know how you can take the quarterback position and what Sanders did there, even though he did break some school records, right? He broke some of the school records for passing yards and touchdowns, I believe, and have his jersey number retired based on that, especially when you consider that the NCAA college landscape is more about passing the ball anyway. A lot of people did perceive that there was some perceived nepotism that had occurred, being that he is the son of legendary coach Deion Sanders. A lot of people think that if Deion Sanders wasn't the coach there, he didn't do enough. His record wasn't good enough to have his jersey number retired as well. That's my take on it. How do you then go forward with other people that played at the University of Colorado that have better records and better stats, but they don't have their jersey number retired? It can make people go, I don't know if I want to play for Coach Prime in the future. Definitely nepotism, in my opinion. I'm not arguing against Travis Hunter. He should have his jersey number retired. But Shador Sanders? Nah. It also provides, or it shows a road where there's a deviation from tradition, because jersey retirements are typically reserved for players who have completed their careers and have a lasting impact on the program. The lasting impact that that program has is going to be what Coach Sanders did and what Travis Hunter did, being that he won the Heisman while he was there. And I would also argue that while Travis Hunter was, or you can say is, one of the best two-way players we've seen in a while, I'm not so sure if without Coach Sanders, does he do enough to have secured and won the Heisman this past year? Okay? Now, the fact that the two numbers that they're retiring, number 2 and number 12, are going to be deemed untouchable. Now you're knocking out two numbers that are primarily sought after numbers. I definitely say that number 2 is one of those numbers that, as you're, coming from high school, going into college, these athletes, they have certain ties to a jersey number. I wore number 34 and number 22 my high school year when I played high school football. I didn't play any ball beyond high school. Well, I played some organized ball at like the rec level. But that jersey number is something that you you want. Like you honor that. I wore number 22 because other pass running backs that I liked at the pro level, the college level, and some of the local guys that were good also wore jersey number 22. So that's why I wanted it. So to knock out number 12 and number 2 and to have those numbers never to be able to be played again or worn again, eh, I'm not so sure that was the right move for what they did. Does anybody disagree? Is there anybody that would have an argument for having Shador Sanders' jersey number retired? If so, put it in the chat. I'd love to see it. We got David Cunningham. He said, if anyone should have their jersey retired at Colorado, it's Cordell Stewart, the quarterback. Now, okay, so I'm going to look this up real quick. Notable University of Colorado football players. And see who else should be on that list besides Cordell Stewart. Cordell Stewart was definitely one of the high school players that should have. Oh, I gotta answer something real quick. Let me see. Hopefully, I can do this. As Cordell Stewart was dominant, you also had Hall of Fame Rashawn Shalom, who won the Heisman Trophy back in 1994. You could definitely say that. Looking at other notable players, let's see. Let's go into Alfred Williams, linebacker who won the Butkus Award in 1990 and was instrumental in Colorado's national championship that year. I don't think Alfred's jersey number is retired. I need to verify that, but I don't think that it is. So, and then when you look at quarterbacks, Cordell Stewart. I was a huge Cordell Stewart fan. I liked when he played in the pros. I think I had a Cordell Stewart jersey number as well when he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cordell's jersey number is not retired. So what's the benchmark for retiring jerseys? Is it fame? Because that's what it sounds like. Now, when you have the influence of Coach Deion Sanders, you can make things happen. You're going to make some controversial decisions. And if anything, I don't know, is his son going to, I don't know, be okay with having your jersey number retired when you really didn't do anything? That's my take on it. That's my take on it. It is what it is. David Cunningham said Cordell Stewart was part of the University of Colorado football team that won the 1990 national championship. He was a key player during this time with the Buffaloes, playing from 91 to 94. Yep, and let me see. Did Cordell Stewart have his jersey number retired from there? Let's take a look at this. All right. Taking a look at what's coming up on the web here. Cordell Stewart has not had his jersey number retired. His record during that time span where he was the starting quarterback was 27-5-1. And he led his team to multiple bowl victories, yet his jersey number remains unretired. All right. So that's my take on that. We've got Greek Pete in the building, and I've got to bring him on. So let's see if I could do that. All right, Coach is not going to be up here, so let me remove Coach, y'all. This is going to be our Wrestlemania talk with the guy that I know that does Wrestlemania, and y'all are going to have to bear with me because I'm building this ship as I fly it. He is already laughing at me in the background. Let's see. All right. Let's see if I can get him up here. All right. Hey, I've done this kind of janky, but it's working. Folks aren't going to be able to hear you just yet. Let's see. Let me do one more thing to make sure I can hear you and the people can hear you. Okay. Up on the screen here is my main man, Pete from Sparta HQ Network. Pete, let me know if I can hear you. Can you hear me? The people can't hear you. Where did I mess up? Where did I mess up? All right. We're going to try this one more time. Pete, go ahead. Man. Okay. All right. This is why I'm not too much of a fan of OBS for on the fly stuff. So you're there, you can be seen, but people can't hear you. I have you unmuted over here. I don't know what's wrong. Well, you know what? That might be it. Let me hit the refresh button. Huh. Paste. Click the OK button. And people are like, what is this? What is going on with this show? Why is it on here twice now? All right.
See, all this.
So now people can hear you, and I'm afraid of removing one of these. I don't know why this second one is showing up.
All right. Are we good? Or I know you want to put my face over yours any day of the week. I'm okay with that.
We're just gonna have to make this work. Let me move this WrestleMania banner. This does not look pretty, but at least you can be heard, and that's what I care about. So this is my resident WrestleMania expert. We are on WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. There was some key story points that came up. So walk us through what are the significant things that had occurred so far in WrestleMania 41, and what are the big storylines that have occurred?
So I didn't really get a chance to watch the whole thing. I watched bits and pieces, and I just read articles. I'm waiting for the whole thing to be done, so I could go over and watch the whole thing. But the matches are not a WrestleMania matches. They're very low key matches. Like for example, I'm reading the articles here and the numbers for Roman Reigns match. He got only a B minus for his match.
Okay.
That's low for Roman Reigns. So the only good match was Jey Uso versus Gunther. That was a minus A. So the matches are not up to par. So overall, the results weren't too bad. So we have the whole scandal right now going on, quote unquote, with whose side Paul Heyman picked. He actually surprised us. He went with what's his name, Seth Rollins. So that wasn't even supposed to happen. He was supposed to go with Roman or with CM Punk. So that was like, what the fuck, kind of thing. So that's one. Then we have. I already spoke about WWE heavy that Jey Uso won, and we kind of saw that coming. That it was kind of like given he had the belt for a while, he had to move it on to somebody else. So this one, I was like, I didn't know which one was going to win. A New Day versus the Raiders. New Day won that hands down, and I kind of saw that coming a little bit, but not much because they're the heel. Heel usually get the belt as more than baby faces because it pushes the storyline out more.
Mm-hmm.
The one that it was a minus being for a lot of people, to me was like more like a C match was Belair and I can't remember her freaking name. Belair, and hang on, let me get her name right here. My eyes will be work. I'm sorry. Noah and Jada. That match wasn't exciting for me. It was like, it's okay. I missed it.
I
Not a big
like
deal.
the outfits.
Oh, I
Man.
love the outfits. Don't get me wrong. When they bend over those ropes, oh, I'm like, woohoo! Like my little Spartan is like getting very excited now. Uh, yeah. So the one match I was looking forward to, and I kind of saw a little bit of the win was Jacob Fu versus LA Knight. kind of saw it coming. He hasn't have a belt. He's a new guy in the company. Yeah, WrestleMania is a place to put a belt on and know somebody else. But the one I want to actually touch base on, and like it's there's they're at it. They announced they're also bought a new company, with Mexican luchadores. They own the company now, so we're gonna be watching that on American TV very soon. So this is the next match, with Ray Phoenix versus Rey Mysterio. It was an okay match. It wasn't that bad, but I expect more coming down the road with these guys because now the whole companies they own it now is it's gonna be a brand new spin on it. And okay, we got the women's champion, Tiffany Stars versus Flair. Um, Flair Flair returned. You kind of saw that coming. Flair never loses a match usually because her connections, and that's what comes down to it is the connections in this business. So one thing people are not talking about as much, and this is what kind of surprises me, and I think you're gonna respect this more: the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame this year was beyond good. I'm not talking about the nominations and the way they did it. They got rid of the whole ring thing a
Hmm.
couple years, and now they're actually doing a real Hall of Fame like they did at first, and putting Triple H in there. I actually got to give him guy credit. He grind as much people call him a Pookie, and he kind of banged himself into the position. But let's be straight here. He did work his ass off, and he deserves the position he in. I think he's doing a really good job as the content creator. What are you thinking?
I don't follow him that closely like that, but I mean, obviously, when he has as much exposure as he does, then the success that he has, I mean, it just makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah. So here's the thing. He wasn't a business owner like Vince. He wasn't anything. He was a wrestler, a fan. So he got into it that way. Being a fan and watching all this stuff, it made him a different character. And he wasn't selfish. He didn't mind putting himself. For that, he didn't mind putting other people over. Sometimes, as much you've seen a lot of him winning the belt as much, but you as fans were thinking, oh, he's banging the boss's daughter, so that's why he always gets the belt. But no, it's a storyline. That was the point of it at the time, if you think about it.
Now, let me ask you this: one of the
Mhm.
main points and stories that came out of this was this being John Cena's final WrestleMania. What are your thoughts about how they're going to look at getting John Cena through this, and if he's going to actually get that record 17th WWE World Title?
As much I want to say yes, I think he will get the title again, but I don't think it's gonna be his last performance. Simple. Money talks.
True.
Think of the Rock, dude. Come on. The Rock has stepped away for so many years, and all of a sudden he starts popping heads back in. Yeah, he doesn't wrestle as much, but he's still there. I think the Rock and Cena are kind of like a good team up because Cena was kind of talking shit about his face years ago, saying, "Oh, you are a coward, you're a bitch, yada yada yada." They wrestled, and The Rock was gone for years at the time, and he pulled his groin at that one, if you remember. So him coming back, I don't think is gonna be the last time you see him come back. I think he's gonna be back multiple times, but what extent? That is something that we have to wait and see.
Okay. Man, there's a stat here, and I'm trying to get a reference for it. David
Mhm.
Cunningham said 61 million showed up for WrestleMania
That
41.
sounds pretty right. That sounds pretty
That's
right.
insane.
Yeah.
Oh man, hey
But
Pete.
you also forget they rent the biggest arena they can find. That's why they have 2 nights. And they only have the seating there. You have also the passes in the backstage, the parties. There's a lot going on for WrestleMania. WrestleMania is like literally is wrestling of Super Bowl. That's not even a joke anymore. So that's why it's literally. I know they say 2 nights. It's literally like 3 or 4 nights event. If you think about it, Friday night, you have Hall of Fame. Saturday and Sunday, you have WrestleMania. Now, Thursday and Wednesday, they're usually kind of starting to set up. You have the fans starting showing up. Is autograph signing. There's a lot going on there. You think these guys that show up, put the gear on, warm up, and go out there and wrestle is a lot more than just wrestling behind wrestling anymore. Wrestling is not like it used to be back in the Vince era, the whole like era now. It's more, let's meet the fans. Let's give back to the fans because those are the guys who are paying our paychecks at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day. And they give wrestlers time off. Like, oh, or only needs a week off. Well, give them a week off. It's fine. Let them recuperate and come back in a week and stuff like that. That's why you see them like a lot of them get hurt. A lot of them, they're not getting hurt. They're just out for a few days or a few weeks because they need a little break to see family and stuff.
Hmm. Okay. You know what, man? That's interesting because I also
Mm-hmm.
think about it too, especially when people are trying to tighten up the budget and things like that, right? You would say the average American with what's going on in our country today, they're not really spending money like that unless you got it like that. And
I
to
agree.
and to get people to come out to Vegas, spend that money, show up for the tickets, stuff's going to be juiced up as far as price goes and things like that. And WrestleMania can still kind of get that draw, whether it's online, stream, or in person. That goes to show just how much gravitas that wrestling has. I've been to one wrestling event in person down in Washington D.C. About a year ago, and it was a while ago. And I'm going to tell you, seeing some of those people, you get how some people can be larger than life. Like what's her name? Charlotte something. Is it Charlotte
Start
Flair?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair. Seeing her in person, I was like, that's a whole lot of woman. Let me see. How tall is she? How tall is
Here you
she?
go.
Yeah, Charlotte Flair is 5'10". I saw her, and I know you've already got some jokes coming, but like as she walked past, I was like, well, that's a whole lot of woman. Have you ever seen Charlotte
Bro,
Flair up close and personal?
like like obviously me and you have been to Comic Con together, and I've been without you. I met a couple of wrestlers, and I look at him like I met Kevin Nash. I looked up like, "Whoa, you're a big motherfucker, man!" Those guys are big. I met Christian. He wasn't as big as Kevin Nash, but some of these guys are huge.
Yeah,
Like Rikishi. When I met him, I'm like, "Well, you're a big boy. Oh, I'm not fucking with you. I don't need a stinky face." But they're actually very sweet people when you meet them. Like the only person that I felt like a little as human as possible, but nervous at the same time was Trish Stratus because I had the biggest crush on her in the world.
nice.
And when I saw her, she put her arms around like shaking like a leaf, but you never realize they're just normal people at the end of the day. And
True
just doing
that.
a career. But the thing is also the price. I want to talk about that is because TKO also announced about 6 months ago, I want to say maybe less, maybe more. They're raising their prices. Their prices are going up, but they're cutting back in PPLs. So, except in having one PPL every year, you might back down to maybe, let's say, six for argument's sakes. I'm not sure how much they're going to back off, but they're going to back down a lot on PPLs. But the prices are going up. So when they're losing in revenue, they're trying to raise the prices on tickets. So I don't know how I feel about that personally. So that's the other factor we have in here. I know they're trying to grow the company because right now, if you think about it, before now we have the Netflix deal, we have the TNA deal. Now they're teaming up with them, so you got crossovers, and that's the first time in any WWE/WWF they ever done crossovers. They never do crossovers. Then you still have SmackDown, and I'm assuming SmackDown eventually is going to be coming down to Netflix. Then you have NXT. NXT is killing it. Now you have the Luchadores coming on next. I'm expecting maybe in the next 4 or 5 years. I won't be surprised you're watching wrestling 7 days a week now. I won't be surprised it's coming.
It's definitely one of those things that it can be more accessible, but on the management side, you'd have to bet that they're going to have a good roster of people because there's no way that these athletes can endure more
Correct.
events throughout the year on their bodies and be able to present and have a good high quality product. So I think that that can be good for that sport, if you will. Give some of the people that are doing some of these local circuits the opportunity to be seen on a national stage.
So that's the point of the NXT. The NXT was supposed to be the new oncoming talent. Performance center. That's what you go to prefer. You if you get accepted into a performance center, that's mean you got a one-way ticket to NXT. Not always. You can be cut for any reasons or rhymes, but once you get through NXT, you one step closer to the main roster. Now, once you get drafted, and I don't like using that word draft because it's not really a draft. It's only one company. So when you get drafted Raw or SmackDown, that's where you made it. People don't understand is also the dark matches. They're new wrestlers, let's say the King Smith Conqueror comes in. You know what I'm saying? You're the new wrestler. Like, okay, you're going to be on dark matches. You're going to be on days that nobody watches on TV on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. That usually is a different show going on. Like Raw is only on Monday. Monday is the only day you're going to see. What you see on TV is only one day of the week. The big arena, the fireworks, all that stuff. But you don't understand. There's wrestlers, I'm not sure now, but before with Vince era, they had to pay for their own pyros. They had to pay for their own entrance. They had to pay for their own music. They had to pay for everything. And so travel, they pay for that. They travel for the food, hotels. Yeah, they're making millions, but how much are you really spending to make that?
Man, all right. I got one final question for you, Pete, and then I'll let you go. First of all, before I even get to that question, thanks for randomly joining because this was unplanned. But when I was looking at talking about WrestleMania, I was like, "Ooh, you know what? Greek Pete's the guy that definitely has that knowledge base and that history." Because I'm a noob when it comes to wrestling. So thanks for taking the time to do this impromptu pop up with me and talk about WrestleMania
Well,
41.
as much I don't want to say I'm not expecting this is normal for you.
Hey,
So you don't like planning things because you only plan it, you always fall through. When you don't plan things, that's why you need me usually.
see, in the Air Force, they say flexibility is the key to air power. I
Whoa, pause. I'm not flexing for you, man.
I love that flexibility. All right, don't look this up. For the Sunday only tickets, if you wanted to be near ringside, how much do you think that you would have paid for a ticket to be able to go to this event at the
Easy 10.
Allegiant Stadium?
The minimum, minimum, I would say in a 10,000 range. I seen them go that high.
Okay, so for the 2 day events, you would
To
have
the
been
events with
accurate.
VIP tickets,
Yeah, yeah.
back page and everything.
Yep. The average right now, if I was looking for just one ticket because I only wanted to go today and I wanted to sit ringside or somewhere close, you're looking at about $1,500. There's one
Okay,
ticket
I
that's
was pretty
listed
off.
for 4,500. That's a little bit up, very close to the ring. Let me see what this ticket's supposed to look like.
But
Yeah, that's close enough.
if you're gonna spend that money, you should spend the extra money to get the VIP, the backstage, the autograph section. Because you only when you get tickets, you only get to sit there. You have to
Yeah,
pay for the VIP section to get the autograph section. Is they break it up. They get you. Oh, it's $1,500. That's nothing. I can afford that. You forget about hotel, food. The food there is like ridiculous expensive. I'm like, you mean you have been a Comic Con? They're pretty pricey there, right?
yeah.
You think you price it? Go to WrestleMania. Okay, then we'll have a different conversation. Then the
Man,
conversation money's twice.
this is insane. Like, now I'm gonna need with three
You
thousand
need a
dollars.
loan.
This is $3,000 and an okay view. I wouldn't even call this one an okay view because you're like, it says row 6, seat 9 and 10, but I'm looking at that like, no, I'm not paying $3,000 to be that far back still and not have that great of a view. People start standing up in front of me, I ain't gonna be able to see shit.
I know somebody who used to go to WrestleMania every year. That's one thing he got for himself for his birthday gift, Christmas. That's his gift, and he used to spend around 10,000. I mean, with food, hotel, everything you can think of, he spent. And it was like, okay, dude, that's a lot of fucking money.
Man, whatever. Goodness gracious. All right, Pete, man. Hey, thanks for joining, brother.
All right, guys.
All right, and that was Pete from Sparta HQ Network. He put his link down in the chat over on YouTube. I think that gets pasted everywhere as well. I want to give a salute to my main man Pete for being able to pop in impromptu like that. Thanks Pete for joining, brother. If you can still hear me, I have no idea why that video came up that way, um, which could be cool and kind of creepy at the same time. So I've got to fix that. I've got to fix that. That's a back end problem thing for me to worry about. I wish I could show some of the WrestleMania highlights, but I know if I do, I'm going to get zucked hardcore. But there was one video of this big ass guy doing a backflip off the top of the road to Ivar, and he barely made that backflip. Let me see. I might nah. If I play it, I know it's gonna get flagged and the stream's gonna end. But he almost didn't make that backflip. That could have been disastrous for his neck. Could have been disastrous for his neck. Now we've got one more piece of sports news here, and then that's gonna end the show. We're gonna be under an hour today. Want to give a congratulations to the women's hockey team as they prevailed in overtime, defending the champion Canada team 4-3 to win the Women's Ice Hockey World Championship today. All right. That's a big deal because you know what? If we're going to play the whole tariff war, let me not go there. Shout out to USA for beating Canada. I'll stop it right there. We're not going to get into politics. That's a Monday show here at WTF Nation Radio. Do we have anything else? Sports news? It was a big deal, and we talked about it a little bit last week. The quarterback for the University of Vols, the former quarterback now, has packed up. U-Haul has been moved, and he is now transferring back to his home state of California to take his talents to UCLA. That whole story was a nightmare, but it highlights some of the things that's involved with the whole NIL deals. That's name, image, and likeness. Apparently, he was making around $4 million and was trying to get more than that to stay in play. And when things didn't go his way, he sat out of practice, and the coach said, "We're not doing that here." So he said, "You know what? I'm out." You're going to see more of that happening. And I think that there's going to be some changes to the way that the name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal, all of that stuff is going to play out in the long run. On the one hand, with these young men, women, and people that are able to get these NIL deals, go get your money. The coaches are doing it. The coaches don't have any loyalty besides what's in their contract and things like that. And if they're not performing, they could get fired in a heartbeat. So why shouldn't these young athletes, who they say you're a student first and the athlete second, not be able to go out and get their money at the same time? All right. We'll end it on this. We got the NBA playoffs occurring right now. We're in the first round. Currently playing are the Miami Heat against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers are favored to win this series, and right now they're winning almost at the end of the third quarter, 79-87. Yesterday, I do want to go over yesterday's scores. We've got the Pacers, who decimated the Milwaukee Bucks. Denver barely beat the Clippers by 2 points, winning 112-110. The New York Nets, and coach is going to be happy about this, and I think this might be the first sweep in all of these first round series. The Nets are playing the Detroit Pistons, and I don't think the Detroit Pistons are going to win a single game. They beat Detroit 123-112. Going back to play in New York tomorrow night. And the surprise, the Los Angeles Lakers got their asses handed to them by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, before this game started, I want to take a look at this. Before this game started, what was the Lakers were favored by like 4 points. And whew, nobody expected them to get their ass beat at home like that. The fourth frame in this game was ridiculous. The Lakers scored a lowly 17 points to end the fourth quarter. They shot 39.8% from the field, while Minnesota went 51.2%. Not going to win any games. The Timberwolves only went to the free throw line 10 times, hitting 8 of the 10 and just made the Lakers look like second-rate trash. Nobody from the bench for the Lakers did anything. Luka Doncic was a ball hog pretty much the entire game, taking 22 shots and only clipping about half of those. So, do I think that the Lakers are going to get swept? No. Are they going to lose this series? Nah. I think they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out, get things going, and be able to turn this series around. All right? So, let's see if we got any other comments to highlight. And we're going to close out the show. David Cunningham, you are on. You are watching. I appreciate you tuning in. Let me know when your hoodie comes in and what you think about it. It should be in sometime this upcoming week. I don't get the shipping update, so you have to let me know when it comes in. David Cunningham was the winner of the Sports Bar's 2025 March Madness tournament, in which he could have won $100 cold hard cash. But what he decided to do instead is to support a U.S. veteran, me, and something that I've got going on because I host several other shows on these YouTube streets. And he asked for a hoodie for one of my shows, and I was like, you know what, man, that's dope. So I sent him one. Coach is also going to send him something from the WTF Nation Radio merch website as well, which I might be able to bring that up. Let me see if I could bring that up. Let's bring that over here. Let's mute that. Let's bring this up. It does not want to show. All right. I don't know why. So, I don't have the WTF Nation Radio sports merch. So, while I feel some airtime, while David Cunningham gives us our sign-off message, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had over 100 live stream viewers watching the Sports Bar here on this fine Easter. I hope everybody really had a good Easter Sunday wherever you tuned in from. I went and saw this movie Sinners, which is interesting to watch a movie called Sinners on Easter Sunday, and the movie was good. I know this is more of a pop culture conversation, so tune in to Pop Culture Warrior Tuesdays here on WTF Nation Radio, where he covers all things pop culture, so you don't have to. But he's gonna cover some of the upcoming movies that's coming out as well. We've got Boss Man Ice coming in strong live tomorrow for the aptly called Monday edition here Monday on WTF Nation Radio at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time Zone. And then we've got Radar at Wednesday for the Smoke Pit, covering all of the things that people want to hear and talk about like they're around the Smoke Pit. So we've got David Cunningham's words here. Let me see if I can make this bigger. That's what she said. Nope, not able to do it. Happy Easter, all. Thanks for joining us on the Sports Bar. Have a great week with a basketball emoji. David Cunningham, thank you. Always like to sign off the show with his positive words. To everybody else that tuned in, appreciate y'all tuning in. If there's a like button on the platform that you're watching us on, hit that like button. My name is King Smith. I give a salute to you. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.